step in CRUD functionality that I'll be teaching you is the read. Okay, we're finished with the create, okay, or add. Now we'll be dealing with the read. Okay, read API. Okay, so read API in a CRUD or in CRUD is could be utilized using um, in SQL as select all, okay, and another one will be select one. Okay, what does it mean? So select all meaning we're gonna get all the contents of the database of our database. Select all, okay, and select one is we're just getting one data with particular um, where clause or like a particular condition. Okay, so first in our home in our Angular front end, in the front page, home page, this is where we're gonna put in our select all. Okay, we're gonna show here all the contents of our database. Okay, so at the moment it is set as static, so meaning it's hard coded. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna modify that, okay, in order for us to retrieve all the data from our database. Now to avoid breaking up our code or to avoid further errors, what we have to do instead of modifying first our HTML file, we're gonna go to our that TypeScript file. Okay, so this is a home component. All right, so let's go to our profile project. Okay, so we will be dealing our home component now. Okay, because this is where we're gonna show all the contents of our database in the front page and home page. Alright, so we'll go to home component.ts first. Okay. Alright, let's see the imports. Okay, be sure that in the imports we have the model. Okay, our Angular model, which is profile. Okay, we have imported that for the route as well. Okay, because we'll be needing that as well. The routes. Okay, and profile service. Okay, yeah, you should have copied this profile service as well, because this is where our API resides. Okay, so we need to import that, and we need to add another one, which is the message service. Okay, remember in the add component we use that message service in order to show the message box after we have added the data. So we will be using that as well here later on when we edit the data. Sorry, and when we delete the data, we will be showing a message as well. So we have to put it now. Okay? So message, okay, and this is message service. And we also need to define our message service inside the parameter of our constructor. So just need to put a comma there, and just need to copy this profile service, and we just need to modify it. So that will be message, and message service. So obviously we'll be ready later on to use this service. Okay, what else? And then we had to put now the showing of all the contents, we need to create a function for that, showing the contents in our home page. So we're going to insert another function here, alright, to get all the profiles. Okay, functions get all profiles, and then this underscore profile service is this one, underscore profile service colon profile service. So this is where we're calling our service profile. Okay, and then inside that we have function show all profiles. It is turned red because it's not yet in there. Okay, so we're gonna put that later on. Okay, and then we have here a variable these profiles. Okay, so we have to define this variable, so we could put it here below the constructor profiles. Okay, and then colon, we could just put any data type, so any data type will be okay. Alright, is at the moment it is defined as an object, right? It's a combination of different fields with different data types. Okay, so that's why any will be alright to be defined. So these profiles, okay, what else? I think that's it. Okay, so what we'll do is um, during the loading of the home page, we should get all the profiles automatically. To do that, let's go to the lifecycle function, which is ng on init. Okay, inside that function, we then now call this function get all profiles. So we're gonna put this dot get all profiles, and then it will be called this function. Okay, now let's try to discuss further the contents of the get all profiles function. Again, we'll be calling our service, the profile service, where our API resides. Okay, and then there's a function there that we'll be calling the show all profiles. This is to a request to get all the profile contents of our database. Okay, so that subscribe is happened when we request to the server, which is a Laravel server, and then it's successful, then it give us a response. Okay, it's depending on what our return would be in the server side. Okay, if it's successful, then we could put there success, right? But if there's an error, then it will be returned back to us as a response. Okay, and then after that, after retrieving in the database, this dot profiles, which is defined here, okay, will be our placeholder to get all the profiles from our database, which is this one, the output. Okay, these profiles. Okay, so we have to go first with our HTML files, because we need to define, or we need to have a loop for our profiles there, so that we could show the contents. So let's go to our home component.html. So in home component.html, since we only got the static contents here, okay, meaning it's hard coded. So now we will be retrieving all the data from our database. So we would need to only need one, and we're gonna loop in order for us to show the contents. Okay, so we just need to remove this one. We only need one. So we open up, Okay, and then we're gonna insert an ng4 loop here, okay, to retrieve the data from our database. I'm gonna insert our looping here in the panel view. Okay, so yeah, for the loop, Angular. This is an Angular directive. ng4 is in charge for the looping. So ng4 is equal to open close quote double quote. So let profile of profiles. Okay. So profiles. Okay, remember this one. So this is where our contents from our database been assigned. Okay. So content from our database, which is gotten from our controller in our Laravel, that was been put into variable profiles. So if you go to home component.ts, so this is that one. Okay, this dot profiles is equal to profiles from our server, Laravel server backend. Okay, this profiles. So now we will be looping it and just an array left profile of profiles, and then we're gonna insert our data here. We just need to put in here uh, profile full name. Okay, but it doesn't work. We could not check our HTML because there will be an error. Okay, when it recompile, you could see an error here. Okay, what's that? Oh, message. It should be message. Message. Home component.ts. I misspelled it. It should be message, not message. Okay, I'm expecting an error still. See? Okay. We have still an error, show all profiles, because this function, show all profiles, is not yet exist in our profile service. Okay, fair enough. So when you check your profile, home component.ts, okay, the error we're having is this one, show all profiles. That function is not yet exist in our profile service. Okay, so we have to go to our profile service.ts, okay, and we have to insert that function. We have to first insert this show all profiles. Oh, sorry, we inserted in the should be inside this one. Alright, so we got an HTTP request. Okay, before in our add API we use a post request. Now we will be getting a get request. Okay, the parameters inside it will be HTTP get. This server is the location of our server, which is HTTP profile. Okay, and then plus, oh, this is a concatenation. Okay, slash profiles. All right, so this is our URI for the Laravel server. Okay, profiles. So we've done that. Will it work? Let's see if it's equal, if we're gonna see a retrieval of the data. No. Let's see again. Oh, we got an error still. What's our error? Okay. It only means that yes, we're done with our front end with regards to API call. We had a request, but our connection to our Laravel backend is not yet fixed. Okay, we need to add something there as well. Right? So we need to go to our Laravel app that's in the XR 7 HDocs profile, and then proceed to close this one. Proceed to close those. We go to our routes folder and web PHP, and then we're gonna define our route. Okay, so I just need to paste it route, and remember our request is get, right, and slash profiles. Okay, so this one profiles. Okay, and then gonna go to our profile controller with the function get profiles. So now we're gonna add a get profiles function or method inside the profile controller. So where is the profile controller? That's an app http controllers profile controller.php. We add another function here, which is okay. Okay, so we've added this function get profiles. Okay, we had a variable now. Set profiles is our variable because we're getting many data, right? Many data inside all our data in the databases with S profiles is equal to profile. Okay, this profile is our model in our Laravel. Okay, this one. Okay, so we're gonna call that class profile colon colon. Okay, this is a shorthand order by, okay, ID. Okay, so ID is our primary key, meaning the ID field, and then the order would be descending order. Okay, and then we're gonna get it. All right, and then the return would be the, okay, our return response from the server will be the JSON format of the profiles, this one. Okay, so hopefully it would work. Let's see. So it is compiled successfully without errors. Okay, we just need to refresh it. All right. Okay. Okay. Now this data is coming from our database. You can see here, right? So in descending order, so Jane Doe first, and then Mark Koyeni. So Jane Doe, Mark Koyeni. Okay. We just need to modify this listing a bit. We just, it would be nice just to add a small image here, the photo. Okay, so to do that, we go to our home component.html, and then we're gonna insert the image. Okay, so image with the attribute src as source would be, okay. Okay, remember this is string interpolation, so we're gonna write our photo, okay, image. So we're gonna get the data image from our model profile. Okay, this is a data we retrieve from our database. Okay, and then the height and width will be 50 pixels. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's recompiling, as you can see. Should show our image. Alright, so we have there our image. So we're done with our select all. Okay, now uh, another read uh, another read functionality is select one. So we only select a certain, or we're going to retrieve a data corresponding with the where condition. Okay, so that's a read in our CRUD functionality. We could clearly show it in our edit functionality or edit component. Okay, so let's make that when we press the edit button, okay, at the moment doesn't do anything. When we press the edit button, it will redirect us to the edit component. Alright, so we just need to modify our edit button. Okay, let's go to our home component.html, and then we're gonna insert here in our pencil icon here. Okay, this Angular code, right? The router link, okay, is equal to open close double quote. Okay, so this is our URI for the edit. So edit, okay, slash edit slash, and then the profile ID. So it will point out to its corresponding ID in our database. Okay, so Angular is automatically updating, right? So when we press this edit button, the pencil is the edit button, it will redirect us to our profile, edit profile data, edit profile page. Okay? So look, this is the URI edit, and this is the ID number, which is the primary key of our database. Okay. So actually what we did is we just copied the content of our add component to our edit component, because actually they're the same. The only difference is that in the add it's all blank. In the edit it will retrieve the data, okay, which has been clicked. But at the moment it's not that there's some issues at the moment. So better we have to clear the errors in our console, in our browser console. But at the moment it's still blank, it's not retrieving it. Okay. So what we have to do is fix first our page, our edit page. Let's see. Instead of model, we should make use of as profile. As well as the age on the profile. And buttons, this photo. So what we do now, because I think when I updated the add component HTML, I didn't update my edit component as well. So what we do, we just need to copy this add component.html. Okay, so this one, we're gonna copy that and paste it in our edit component HTML. Okay, just need to change the class and the comment. Alright, so let's see. We still get some errors here. Okay, we need to modify a bit our edit page. Instead of add new profile, let's put it edit profile. Okay, and then during submit, we're gonna call a function to the update profile. Okay, update profile. What else? So it's the same. You need to have a validation. Okay, file name age. Okay, and we also need to have what they call this message that we have updated our profile. Okay. Now let's go to our edit component.ts. Okay. We just need to check the contents in our edit component.th. Component.ts, sorry. So we already have the profile service, which is good. We got import the model, the route, okay. And this one should be import message. Okay, this is message. Nice. Message service. Right. And then during loading, okay, when during load, we're gonna call this function get one profile. So just to insert that method get one profile. Okay, here we define an ID. Okay, the route. Okay, define in our constructor parameter route is equal to active route, which was being imported. This one, right? And then what else? This route that snapshot parameter ID. So we're getting the ID. Okay, remember in our URI, it shows the ID. Okay, and then after getting that, it's assigned in our ID variable. We're gonna call our service, profile service. Inside that, we have the show profile function. Okay, and if we're able to retrieve from the database, the request first we're gonna request through profile service, and then request via this API call show profile ID. It's currently red because we haven't put it yet in our profile service. So when we request it and it's successful, we get a response from our Laravel server. Okay, so this is the response, the profile, and then we're gonna retrieve uh, the data. Okay, and then we're gonna assign it to the variable profile. Okay, we're getting only one. We could only retrieve one. Okay, and then we're gonna this one, the file src is the photo. Okay, the file src is our photo retrieved as well. Okay, this is a photo retrieved from our database. Alright, so what we need to do here is have a function show profile in our profile services. So that's under services folder, profile service.ts. Okay, and then we're gonna insert the function show profile. Okay, meaning we only retrieve select one. Okay, so we're gonna retrieve one profile with certain condition where ID is equal to the one that has been retrieved. Okay, so we're getting here a get request. Okay, and then this server plus our URI will be select underscore profile. Okay, and with the parameter ID, which is our parameter here. That's the ID that we're retrieving, right? Okay. Now it won't work still because we have to uh, add a route in our server, in our Laravel server. Okay, so go to our Laravel application. We'll go to the routing, into the route folder, routes folder. We go to the routes folder and web.php, and we're gonna insert here another route, another get route. Okay, just to save time, again, put in the get, okay, the URI that we'll be using, select underscore profile slash then the ID. Alright, and then we're gonna call the profile controller again, and we're gonna insert the get profile function. Okay, so let's go to profile controller. Have to insert here, we need to insert this function get profile method, and again, okay, since we're only retrieving one data So variable is profile. Okay, we're gonna get the class profile, which is our model in our Laravel. Colon where ID, which is a field, okay, is assigned if what we have what we call is inserted in our parameter ID, and we're gonna get it, and then our response would be the profile that we have retrieved from our database. Okay, so let's see if it's working. Okay, oh, it's working now. We just need to clear the noise. Alright, again, let's go home. Okay, when we click this, should show, it should only select the details of Django. Cancel, and we select the edit, here it show my details. Alright, so we're done with our create and read. Okay, read is select all, showing all the contents, and select one depending on the condition, where ID is equal to the ID of the data selected. Now the next step the next step I'll be teaching you the update function. Okay, so currently we are in the edit form. Okay, so we're gonna do the update. So meaning if we're gonna change any of our entries or fields or even the photo, and then after pressing the save button, it should update the data in our database. Okay, so to do that, in our Angular project, let's go to our PHP Storm editor, and we will go to our edit component. Okay, in the edit component .html, just to see our view. Okay, we'll just need to modify some things here. Okay, let's see. So after submit event, it will go to the update profile function. Okay, we will put that in our edit component.ts. Okay, I think just for um, consistency, we just need to change this into edit. Okay, form as well as in our button. Okay. So yeah, change that to edit. Okay. And then the save button, we could just change it to update. Alright, so let's see, should change to update. Oops. Alright, so all good. Now we will modify our edit.component.ts. So we're gonna insert our update profile function. So after the submit of the form, okay, it goes to the update profile functions. So in the edit component TS, we're gonna insert our update profile function. Okay, so we update the update profile function there. Okay, so just need to explain the contents of the function update profile. So when this was being triggered, what will happen is gonna call the profile service. Okay, underscore profile service. Okay, which is defined of course here above, right? Profile service. Okay, this is the variable and we'll be using that variable below. That's a variable, and then we're gonna call the edit profile function in our profile service. Okay, this is an API call to update our fields in our database. So at the moment it's turning red in color because we haven't put it yet in our profile service. And then the input parameter there is a profile. Okay, the one entry that has been modified, so this profile, and then that subscribe, okay, is when we submit the request to the Laravel server, and then we get the response from the server. Okay, it outputs a response. Okay, at the moment we log it in our console. Okay, if it's successful, but if there's an error, the error will show up here. Okay, then after that we're gonna call the message service, okay, with the function show message. Okay, we're gonna call this div with an id message. Okay, and then alert info is the color, so alert info is color blue. Again, this is a message: profile has been successfully updated, with the Gluticon OK button, or OK icon, or the check mark. Okay, so next we'll go to our message service.ts. Okay, sorry, in the profile service.ts, and we're gonna have this function edit profile. And then we're gonna go to our profile service.ts, and we're gonna add this function edit profile with the parameter info, the single entry that we are modifying, and then also we define our variable data. Okay, so the info we got here is in JSON file. Okay, we need to, or JSON file and object file, so we need to put it into stringify. Okay, so that it will be converted into string. Okay, or text, and then we're gonna return the function. So we're using a post again here, a post request. Okay, this is the Laravel server. Okay, slash, this is our URI edit profile that we will be using in our route in Laravel, and then this is the data that we have modified, and these options, as you could remember, is our header. Okay, alright, so that's our edit profile function. Now it won't get updated since we have to still modify our backend side. So to do that, we will go to our Laravel. Okay, we'll go to the profile. So that's in library sum7 x7 HTTP docs profile, and then in the route folder web.php, this is this one, we're gonna add another entry. So we're gonna add an entry there. Okay, edit profile. This is the URI we define in our profile services in our Angular. Okay, edit profile, and then add the profile controller. we should have here an update profile function. Okay, so let's go to our profile controller. So here in our profile controller, we have to add another function there for a method. This is okay. We've added the update profile. Alright. So so this is where our parameter is the request coming from our Angular. Okay, and then we're gonna define a variable ID, and we're gonna get the request input ID, the one that was being passed here. Okay, and then profile is the model that we have defined in our Laravel. Okay, this is a model profile where okay, this is a where clause where ID is equal to ID is the field or our primary key is equal to ID that was been passed in our request. Okay, and then update. Okay, and then we're gonna update the full name, age, and the photo based on the request input that we have requested via our Angular frontend. And then our response would be profile updated. Okay, then we're gonna return the response. So this will be shown in our console log in our browser. Okay, so that's it. So let's see our file here. So let's say we want to change everything, right? For example, Jane doesn't. Okay, and instead of 44, she already turned 46, and we have realized that we've uploaded a different photo. Let's say we have to change the photo as well. Okay, that's the one, and then we're gonna press update. Okay, we could see here that we will be seeing message box as well here. Okay, okay, oops, it didn't change because we got an error. Let's see what the error is. A 419 unknown status again. Okay, since we've used a post request here, we have to insert that as well in our Laravel exceptions. Okay, so that's in our okay. Check your app folder, HTTP middleware folder, and inside the middleware go to verify CSRF token, and we have to add the URI colon slash edit profile. Okay, so we're gonna exclude this URI since we are using a post. As you could remember with the add profile, we've requested a post request as well, and as you could see, Laravel is having a security check if you have encoded a token, okay, CSRF token, but since we didn't create a front end in Laravel, we've created it in Angular, so we just need to exclude it, the checking of the or the verification of the CSRF token. Alright, so by just putting the URI inside this square bracket. Okay, so let's see how it would work now. Okay, again, create the console again, and then run update. Okay. Oops. Alright, you can see here the response is profile updated, so meaning it's updated in our database. Let's see our database. So this is Jane Doe, right? We changed that, and even the age 44. So let's refresh it. Jane doesn't, and we turn it to 46, and the pictures is changed as well. So meaning it's successful. Okay, but the thing is, I've noticed that it didn't show the message here. I don't know why. Okay, let's check our Angular page, and let's check the edit component.ts. Yeah, it should call this one div message. It didn't show. Maybe the ID is not correct. Let's see, div message. It didn't show the message. Let's go to edit component.html. Let's see what's our ID there. Oh, no, okay, we got a different ID here. It's message there. It is message one here. So we're gonna change that. Okay. Because what happened is it inserts a message here below the button. So it's updating now. Let's update again. Okay, profile has been successfully updated. So the message box has been shown now.